Hello, how are you? This is April over at One Slay at a Time. I always introduce myself. I'm not sure why I do that because by now you should know who I am. So, yeah, hi. I hope you guys are doing good. Today is October the 5th. We are in the fourth quarter. I know I've probably been talking about it forever. I think I've been talking about the fourth quarter since the second quarter because the first quarter of the year is pretty good. You're still kind of riding that momentum from the fourth quarter. So January, February, March are pretty decent. But then the second and third quarter, you just kind of take a beating. Well, maybe not everybody. I take a beating in the second and third quarter. I still make money. I would say I probably do on average around $3,000 on eBay, maybe another $2,000 on Amazon. And that's a very average month for me. Nothing spectacular, but nothing abysmal. But the second and third quarter can be really tough. I know this year, August was absolutely brutal for me. Like, I did less than $2,000 on eBay in August. The only thing that saved me in the month of August was actually Amazon FBA. I ended up doing pretty well on Amazon, which is ironic because right now I'm not really sourcing products from for Amazon. For the most part, what I'm doing is I'm blowing out the inventory that I have, and I'm thinking long and hard about if I'm going to continue with FBA. I do think I'll continue. I'm just thinking about how that's going to look for my business, and I haven't formulated that plan yet, so I haven't really been sending stuff in, even though I do have things at home that I need to get prepped and shipped off to Amazon probably by a week's end. So today's video is a little bit different because I'm going to talk about something that I never talk about, that I don't think anybody really addresses in depth, because it's just not advisable to address this. But I'm going to talk about taxes. Dun dun dun. Taxes. Let me preface this by saying I absolutely recommend that you talk to a tax professional, a CPA. If you do not have a bookkeeper or an accountant that helps you with your business, I'm going to recommend that. I tend to always have someone that has a background and a degree in accounting that I'm working closely with. I have a lady that I actually met on my sourcing journey last year that I ended up switching accountants right before taxes needed to be filed, probably early this year. So I'm going to say sometime around February, I ended up switching accountants. But no matter what I say, I absolutely suggest that you consult with a certified accountant in order to figure out what works best for you and your business and what is going to be the most beneficial thing for you and your business. I just noticed that I have all these balloons in the back seat, and I haven't really addressed that. So in case anyone is wondering, I'm on my way back to the office. One of my student employees has a birthday today, and we just want to celebrate her and let her know that she is very much appreciated. She's a senior, so she'll be graduating soon. So we're going all out for her birthday just to let her know how special she is to us. So that's why you see all the balloons in my back seat, because I'm on my way to the office to give those to her. So taxes, I'm going to jump into this. The first thing that I want to say about your taxes is, first of all, I want to say hi to Eve, because in one of my videos, Eve left a comment. I think it was the video that I made saying so many items a month is approximately $40,000 a year on eBay. And Eve calls me the eternal optimist, because in that equation, I did not take into account taxes. And she's correct. She's absolutely correct. I did not mention taxes. So today we are going to do a whole video just about those taxes. The first thing I want to say is, if you do not have an EIN number, what's an EIN? That is your employer identification number. An EIN is to a business what a social security number is to an individual. It's essentially your identifier number. It is how the IRS knows that that's your business and how they kind of link things together. So if you do not have an EIN, I suggest that you get one of those. I didn't have one for quite some time. Excuse me, I really needed that. I didn't have one for quite a while. And then I talked to my good friend Deb over at Pinching Pesos, and she said, you should really go ahead and do that. It takes about 5 minutes. And I went and did it, and it took about 5 minutes. And then I felt really good about myself that I had accomplished all these things, and I think I took the rest of the day off. So I'm going to encourage you to go and get yourself an employer identification number from the Internal Revenue Service. And it's just a very useful thing to have. You want to have that. You could potentially file your taxes under your Social Security number as a sole proprietorship, but I don't think that's really what you want to do here. And like I said, it takes 5 minutes. Get the EIN number. If you end up hiring someone to help you and you want to issue them a 1099 at the end of the year, that EIN number is what you're going to need in order to be able to do that. So it's a very useful number. I also saw something in a group yesterday where someone was trying to complete a purchase and the buyer asked them for a W-9 form, and everyone in the group was like, oh gosh, no, call eBay, that's ridiculous. And I pointed out to them that it's not a terribly uncommon thing to ask for. A W-9 you can fill out with either your Social Security number or your EIN. Obviously, if someone is asking you for this information for a business transaction, you're going to want to use that EIN number. And if you have your business registered and someone asks you for a W-9, it's really no skin off your back. I mean, it's an easy thing to do, to fill out a W-9 and to give that to them. I also mentioned during this discussion yesterday about the EIN that when I was a personal injury paralegal, oftentimes if we settled a injury claim with an insurance company and we as a law firm were not set up as a vendor in the insurance company system, they need that W-9 form in order to add you as a vendor in their system. So this could be really beneficial. You could have a company that thinks that they could do business with you long term. So that's why they're asking for your employer identification number. And you don't want to be all paranoid and not give that to them. So I really encourage you to go and get that number because it's extremely helpful for you and your business. The second thing I want to encourage you to do, if it's feasible and it makes sense for you, is to establish a business address. As much as possible, you want to run your business professionally. As you grow, this should not be a fly-by-night, willy-nilly operation. I mean, you're building a business, you're running a business. So you should have a business address. I know for me, my business address is actually the UPS store. And I chose that for a number of reasons. I absolutely could have used a P.O. box. The reason that I did not use a P.O. box is because when I am doing FBA shipments, those go out from my UPS store. And because they see me on a regular basis and they know me, they tend to be really good to me. And when I say good to me, I mean, if I need a little something extra, they're willing to do that. They'll hook me up because they consider me to be one of their valued customers. The one thing you don't want to do if you're heavy into FBA is you don't want to have your 15, 20, 25 boxes and just drop them off on a UPS store, because they'll get very cranky about that. They feel, and I don't know how true this is because I've heard different theories on this, but they will tell you that they don't make any money for taking all of your boxes. So in order to foster a healthy relationship with your local UPS store, you can open up a box there. And another thing that I love about having my box at the UPS store is my address appears to be like a physical address. It doesn't actually look like a box. It has the street address, and then they told me, the workers at UPS store actually told me to list my box as a suite. And that just simplifies everything. And it, on paper, my business is super legit. So to jump into the nuts and bolts of this discussion, taxes. When you file your taxes every year, you want to be sure that you're keeping track of your purchases, your sales, all of that good stuff. I know a lot of us resellers use GoDaddy accounting for this sort of thing, but you're also going to need a way to track your cost of goods sold, because at the end of the day, what the IRS wants is they want you to pay taxes on your profit. There's been a lot of talk in the news lately about I think it was a multi-million-dollar business loss and what that means as far as tax implications. And I'm not going to mention any of the candidates' names, but long story short, if you don't make any money, chances are you're not going to owe the IRS money, but you're still going to need to file your taxes, because the one thing you don't want to do is have problems with the IRS. Nobody needs or wants those kind of problems. So you absolutely want to file your taxes. I believe is anything anything over $600 you need to file with the IRS. Once again, you want to double check that. If you have any questions, you want to talk to an accountant. I am a lot of things. The one thing I absolutely am not is an accountant. I've taken an accounting class or two at Cuyahoga Community College because my employer at the time wanted me to do the books and I didn't know anything about accounting. So I know very, very basic accounting principles, but I am not an accountant, so you're going to want to talk to an accountant about that. As far as the actual breakdown, when I talked to a CPA who was a family member of the attorney I work for at the law firm, he kind of did a consultation with me just as a favor to my boss. He told me that you want to set aside 30% of your profit in order to pay taxes. And that seems like a huge number, but there's a couple of different things going on that you need to keep in mind. Number one, there is Social Security. When you work and you get a paycheck, Social Security is automatically taken out of your check. So before you get your net pay, you're paying into Social Security, so you don't have to worry about that. When you're self-employed, you're not paying into Social Security. That doesn't mean that the IRS lets you off the hook for Social Security. Your Social Security payments should be about 12.4% of your profit. 12.4%. So that's something that you're really going to want to pay into, and make sure that you stay on the right side of the Internal Revenue Service. The second thing that you need to pay into is Medicare. Once again, when you're employed with a business and you get a paycheck, they pay your Medicare. They pay into Medicare for you, and you don't really notice it after a while because you get your net pay. But if you look down at those deductions, you're paying into Medicare. When you're self-employed, you're not paying into Medicare. That is going to be 2.9% of your profit that you're going to have to hand over to Medicare. And the last thing that you are going to have to pay to the IRS at the end of the year is income tax. And once again, you're just paying this on your net profit. Your income tax is going to be about 9.2% of your profit. Add all of those things together, and the number that I come up with, which is a little bit less than 30% I was advised, is 24.5% of your profit you owe to the IRS. So you don't want to play you don't want to play any games, because trust me, this year, actually last year I had a bill with the IRS, and they don't play. And I know we've all heard the saying that there's very few things for sure in this world, but death and taxes are one of them. Being self-employed does not get you off the hook for taxes. You're going to want to pay those. So that's what I have for you today. I just wanted to do a brief video for people and encourage you to be on the up and up. Do things the right way, above board. Pay your taxes, so you don't have any problems with the IRS, because those are the kind of problems that none of us want. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Keep on hustling. Happy 4th quarter! And that's all I got. Bye.